Aye, Shepherd's Pie, greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for a coffee and a chat. So, the whinging Pom is back to do what he does best, whinge. But I'm not going to have a whinge today. That's not my intention. Never really is. Today I'm going to pose a question, one to which I don't really have the answer to yet. Although I'm starting to lean towards a certain way. Is the Philippines a safe place to live? Now, this won't be a long video because I'm off to watch the Tyson Jake Paul fight shortly, and I hope to Christ Tyson knocks the crap out of him. But I think it's going to be a fix. I don't think it's going to be a real fight. But there you go. Anyway, so it won't be a long video because I've got to go soon. But yeah, I was talking to a friend the other night from the UK who is threatening to come out and visit me. And he asked me the question, is it safe over there? And my immediate reaction was, yeah, of course it is. It's bloody safe. What are you talking about? Because that is your initial reaction when someone asks you a question like that. But then you start to think, what is your definition of safe? Because if someone asks me, is a place safe? I immediately think of crime. You know, are you going to get robbed here? Is someone going to shoot you? You know, that kind of thing. There's been a recent kidnapping. But that the kind of stuff doesn't really bother me. In the sense that, yeah, I feel incredibly safe here. In that sense, and I have never, the only place I've ever been to in the world where I have felt unsafe was Tijuana in Mexico. I went to Tijuana twice, and both times, you know, that's a dangerous place. I tell you, you get reactions, people driving past you in cars going like that. You know, yeah, I had some strange experiences in Tijuana. Not in a hurry to go back there. But I say, I've travelled a lot, and that was the only place that I've ever felt, you know, yeah, this is not a safe place. So that kind of thing doesn't bother me, usually. I mean, there's been a kidnapping here recently. It's a terrible thing for the person it's happened to. I don't know much about it. I've not looked into it. I've just seen it on some people's thumbnails. But the chances of it happening to you here are incredibly rare. I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to happen. But it's like when I was in Thailand. We had a year where a couple of tourists got killed on one of the islands. And again, horrific, shouldn't happen. But the Thais were really worried it was going to affect tourism, and there was a big, you know, campaign to say Thailand's safe. And you know, there were 40 million tourists that went to Thailand that year. So it's terrible for the two it happened to, but it doesn't make Thailand an unsafe place to visit. I never, in my 7+ years in Thailand, ever felt threatened. And that I've walked around Bangkok in the early hours, you know, I've walked around Pattaya in the early hours, you know, never felt in danger. But there you go, this isn't about Thailand, is it? It's about the Philippines. So if you're looking at it from a crime point of view, no, I don't think it's dangerous here at all. Now, my experience, as you know, if you watch the channel, is only limited to Sikihor and Dumaguete, basically. But when I first came here, I was living in Sibilang, and I quite like walking. So there were a couple of times I walked back from Dumaguete in the early hours to Sibilang. And the first couple of times I did it, it's quite a long walk, it's about 6-7 kilometres. I walked through some dodgy areas in the sense that, you know, it was dark, there were people out drinking beer and things walking past you, and I thought, have I made a mistake doing this? Never had a problem, never had a problem. Wouldn't think twice about doing it now. I feel very safe in Dumaguete in terms of crime and things, which is surprising really, because there are a lot of guns in this country, a hell of a lot. I don't know what the percentage of gun owners is, but there's lots of gun shops in town. You know, all the security guards carry shotguns and pistols. You know, you see a lot of guns here when they pull up to put money in the ATMs, you know, they get out, they form a formation. You've got 4 guards all around the vehicles with their shotguns. The guards in the shopping malls have all got guns. So presumably, it's either an overkill or there is a danger of, you know, gun crime in that here, you know, but I've never seen it. So in that sense, it's a very safe place. But after I got talking to him, it made me think. Because I've had a few strange conversations with expats over the last few months. Because I've been here just over a year now, and I've got quite a lot of friends here, but not like thousands. I mean, I move in a, I don't know, couldn't work it out. Maybe I know like 100 people that I would talk to, you know, if I was out. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration. But in the 14 months now I've been here, I know 3 people that have died. 3 people. Now, if you look at it in that sense, that is a lot. That's a high percentage. That is more than any country I've been to in the world. Now, 2 of those have died in motorbike accidents. One of them was a heart attack. Now, you might say, why is he saying about the heart attack? Well, I'm saying about the heart attack because I don't have an awful lot of faith, as I've said in previous videos, in the healthcare system over here. So it gets you wondering, if he had had the heart attack in a Western country, would he have survived? Well, we will never know. But on top of that, 3 people that I'm talking about, in the last couple of months, I know of several friends over here who've had motorbike accidents, quite bad ones. There's another guy, I didn't know him, but I know friends of his, he lost a leg. So you start putting that together, how safe is it in the Philippines? Because when you come over here, you're going to have to drive, or even if you're not going to drive, you're going to be a passenger, you're going to have to get trikes or, you know, buses and things. I'm going to put the aircon back on now, it's getting a bit hot. So, yeah, that's inevitable. And the roads over here are like the Wild West. I mean, the driving over here is atrocious. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, the scooter drivers here, they know how to drive scooters. I mean, they are good drivers in the sense, you know, their balance and the way they move around. It's like Thailand. They've been driving scooters, you know, from day one, you know, probably since they could crawl. So they're much better scooter driver than I am in that sense. But the road sense is awful, awful. I mean, no idea in signalling or what lane to be in, you know, position in the road, you know, if you're driving. Because they don't really take driving tests over here. But I can live with the scooters. The cars though, my God. Worst driving I've ever seen in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was in Riyadh, they drove like lunatics there. But the roads were busy. Here, you know, in the centre of Dumaguete they get busy at times, but, you know, most of the surrounding roads are quite quiet. But it doesn't stop people like driving very, very badly. But again, I don't think they've got licences. So if you start looking at it in that context, 3's a lot. Now, it's not just that 3. What has blown my mind away is you'll get talking to people. I'm out doing the quiz nights, I'm out in the bar, having dinner, talking to friends. It amazes me how many people here have died over the last few years. Now, I'm not going to go into names or, you know, details of people that have died over here, because I think that's disrespectful to talk about, you know, people I don't know in that sense. But the common theme is they've either died in an accident, and we're talking a lot here, I could think just in the last few weeks, because it just pops up in conversation. They'll say, oh, do you remember so-and-so? You didn't know him. He died 2 years ago, etc. And you think, how did he die? And he died of accident on the road. But then you add to that the people who have died in hospitals here from infections. I was talking just the other week, some guy used to be there, said, you like him, but he's dead. I said, he died of septicemia. Shouldn't have happened. I mean, that's what they said. I know nothing about the case. But in the time I've been here, on top of the 3, I know 2 guys who were really sick. I mean, sick as in, could have gone either way. with food poisoning. I mean, in hospital, in the ICU, for like a couple of weeks on drips. My old mate Ray, my God, up in Cebu, a few weeks ago. I thought he was a goner. I'd already made a tribute video. But thank God, he pulled through it. But he was in a terrible way with a virus or something. I was really sick the other week. You've got things like dengue here. The point is, you can get sick anywhere in the world, but people here seem to get surprisingly sick. And a lot of them, when they go to the hospital, they seem to get sicker. So, as I say, I'm not coming to any conclusions here. I am honestly not knocking the Philippines with this video. I'm just asking the question because it got me thinking. After I said to my mate Sean, yeah, it's really safe here, I got thinking about it. I mean, how safe is it really? I don't feel in danger, but I do think, I'm damn sure I'm going to have a motorbike accident soon, just because of the law of averages. I mean, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was saying how he'd just come back from the hospital because he was visiting a friend who had an accident. They smashed their head up. Thankfully, they were okay. And I said to him then, I said, I don't like hearing about his accidents. I've had 2 since I've been here. My own fault. I mean, I'm not proud of it. But that was in the early months when I first got here. And I was quite lucky. Never did any damage, just a few scrapes. But I said, I'm hoping they are my 2 accidents and I've got them out of the way. And he said, everybody has them in it. He's been here 9 years, he's had 2. One of them was quite bad, the other one wasn't. But, mind you, I've got another friend who's been here a long time, he's never had one. But the point is, I know in my mind, I will have an accident coming. Because it's just the way it is over here. And you've got to drive, you can't not. And these accidents, it's all very well saying people drink too much and whatever. It's not, that's not, sometimes it's the factor that causes the accident, but a lot of the times it is the other person's fault, So you could say you're not going to drive on a motorbike. And if, in all honesty, if you're not confident on a bike, that could be a good idea. But I know people have had accidents in trikes. I mean, it's the same thing. Even if you're in a trike, the trike drivers here, they can be reckless at times. So you could have an accident. If you get sick here, and there is a very good chance you're going to get sick here, a very good chance, because food poisoning is a real thing here. Amoebic infections through food poisoning are a real thing here. I'm not sure why. I've been quite lucky with that. I don't know if it's connected, but I think it is. I have a theory. When I was in the Air Force, I used to do a lot of snowboarding, and I went to Bulgaria one year, and I got salmonella poisoning, and I was in a bad way. I was really sick for a couple of weeks, and then when I got back, I think they signed me off for 4 weeks in total, and I had the blood and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't nice. But I think that has given me some immunity, because after that I did a couple of tours of Saudi Arabia, and everyone in our tent got sick at some stage during the tour. I didn't, and they weren't eating the food in town. I was eating the kebabs and all the rest of it. It never bothered me. And I used to do a lot of scuba diving in Sharm el Sheikh, and a few times I went, like my wife got food poisoning. A friend I went with one time, he got food poisoning. I never got it, so maybe that's why I haven't had food poisoning here. But amazing how many people put in the comments that they went to Jollibee and they got food poisoning through this and that, which is not good, because you think with fast food chains you shouldn't get that kind of thing, should you? I mean, that's why people, when they're in Africa, things like that, tend to stick to McDonald's and the chains, not because they love the food, but because you're expected to be safe because it's a chain that's got standards. But judging by the comments, a lot of people have got sick over here, eating in chains. I mean, the reality is, it's not a particularly hygienic place, in the sense that, you see meat out all day, you see fish out and they're not on ice. But I mean, that kind of stuff you can build an immunity to. I think that's why the Filipinos tend not to get sick. But if you're of a certain age, I suggest you're careful over here, you know, in terms of what you eat. If you've got a heart condition, that kind of thing. As I say, I'm not confident in the healthcare system. And that's not me being a whinging pom. I'm not telling anyone not to come here. I'm still here, I'm happy here, 90% of the time. I'm just asking a question. I mean, maybe I am being a whinger, but you know, I'm just saying, I'm asking a question because I do feel safe here, like I say, certainly from the crime aspect. But maybe I'm being silly because at the same time I'm saying I feel safe here, I'm also saying that I expect to have an accident quite soon. And if I have an accident, I'll end up going to a hospital, which I don't have any confidence in. But as I say, when I criticise the hospitals here, it's based on the people I know. And I've mentioned this in previous videos. When I was over in Sikyor, I had a couple of friends over there who were nurses. Both of them guys. And they said to me, both of them, on different occasions when we were out, if you have a serious accident over here, don't go to the hospital in Sikyor. Make sure they take you to the hospital in Dumaguete, because if you go to the hospital in Sikyor, they don't have the facilities or the expertise to save you. And I'm thinking, well, that's good to know, but if I have a serious accident, how the hell do I decide where I'm going? I mean, presumably I'm going to be unconscious. I can't, like, you know, request. I mean, they're going to take you when they take you. But saying that, when that lunatic over there tried to, well, there's nothing. I say I feel safe in the Philippines. I say there's no crime here, but it's the only place in the world I've had anyone try and kill me. And that's what the old, you know, my neighbour did. But when he did that, you know, he topped my ear off. I had to go to the hospital in Sikyor, get it sewed back on. They were good as gold. You know, really polite, really nice. It was very cheap. They don't charge you in Sikyor for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's a strange setup. You go into the hospital, they tell you you're going to need a tetanus jab and all this other stuff. And I didn't go, my friend went, because the nurse I know, he drove me into the hospital. I gave him the money and he went and got it. But you have to go to the pharmacy, which is on the road outside, and you buy your tablets and your, you know, stuff for the injection and that, and you take it back into the hospital and they administer it. So you only pay for the, you know, the medicine that and the hospital gets no money out of that. And when I asked them, you know, why is there no charge? And they said, well, there just isn't, but, you know, if you want to make a donation. So I did, I put some money in, they got a donation pot. But yes, there was no charge to sew it back on again. And when I went back a week later to have the stitches taken out, there was no charge again there, which was nice. I don't know why that is. I know there are charge, you know, they charge you in Dumaguete, but someone who knows more about it than me might, you know, explain why that is in the channel. But then some of the universities are free here, and some are, you know, some aren't. So I mean, there you go. It seems to be the luck. Well, I don't know, different rules. Anyway, I'm waffling now, but I'm going off course on the old subject. It's because I'm thinking about the Tyson fight. But yeah, you know, when you start looking at it that way, even though someone did try and do me in Sikyor, even though I've had a couple of accidents, I feel safe in the Philippines. I do feel safe. I don't say, I mean, it's your definition of safe. But when you listen to people, when you think about your own experiences, as I say, there have been a disproportionate number of people who have come to an early end over here, shall we say, for strange reasons. A lot of infections. There was a guy the other day in the comments when I was sick, who said he'd had an operation in Angeles City. He had a knee replacement and he got an infection and they couldn't fix it, and he'd had to go back to America to have it fixed, and they told him there that if he hadn't come back that week he'd have lost his leg because the infection was so bad. I remember years ago I was watching, well, not years ago, a while back I was watching Mark Thornton's channel, and there was a guy on there, Sebastian, who'd broken his arm, and I think Mark Thornton was having a collection to try and get it fixed, and I think he had to wait for hours, couldn't get into the hospital. Then he had an operation, the operation didn't work, then he had to have another operation. I was saying the other week, there's a guy I know, bar around the corner, he went in for a hernia operation. It was a scheduled operation, should have been, you know, in the UK that would be keyhole surgery, but here they've done the whole general anaesthetic and that. A few days later, come out, he's in pain, has to go back in, has the operation done again. It does not fill you with confidence. But you take your chances in life. As I say, it's not something that bothers me per se. I'm just thinking of something to talk about on the channel, and it's when my friend asked me. But if you have a heart condition, you know, if you are of a certain age where you've got, I don't know, a weak immune system, or you know, you're in your elderly stages, shall we say, food poisoning or something like that over here is not going to do you any favours. And there's quite a high chance that you might get it. So there you go. I don't know. As I said, it's not going to be a long video today. I just want to pose the question. And I know I'm going to get some people saying they have lived here for 50 years or whatever, and there's never been a problem, and it's fantastic, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I do not claim to know what I'm talking about. I'm just asking a question. But it's like anything. I always just say to people when I did some care work years ago, they'd say, oh, I've been eating this since so and so, and it's never caused problems, and don't worry about sell-by dates and that. And I would always say, everyone who died of food poisoning or a coli or something like that has one thing in common. And say, what's that? So they've never died before. You know what I mean? There's always a first time. But anyway, yeah, on the whole, I think it's a safe place. But maybe I am fooling myself. And again, people will say, you know, the healthcare is fantastic in Manila or Cebu or whatever. Fine, but if you're not visiting Cebu or Manila, then that's irrelevant, isn't it? I mean, if you're in Dumaguete, you're going to take your luck with the Dumaguete hospitals. But anyway, as I say, I'm not trying to put anyone off here. I'm just posing the question. And to be honest with you, I'm starting to move towards, it's not that safe over here. The life expectancy is very low here, you know, compared to other, you know, compared to Western countries. And we seem to be losing a lot of expats. So, there you go. Anyway, I've said enough. I'm off to watch Iron Mike. Hopefully do the job on that loudmouth. I'm trying not to swear in my videos anymore because I think it's affecting the old Google algorithm if you swear. So I'm not going to swear, but I hope Tyson does you know what to him. But I think the fight's going to be a fix. I don't think it's going to be a real fight at all. I'm trying not to get too excited about it. But going to go around and watch it with some friends, have a few beers, and what will be will be. Anyway, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd be very grateful if you did. But whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.